So you're in Alberta, Edmonton. You're freezing your arse off. You got nothing to do. You think, you know what make me warmer? A new guitar.
Guitar stuff with John.
Okay, boys, here we are at Stang Guitar in Edmonton, Alberta. So we're going to take a little walk around this is just the ground floor, mind you. We have an incredible selection of electric guitars here. Everything from Epiphone, Gibson, Gretsch, Fender, PRS, you name it, it's all here. If you look up over there. Look at that. All the Les Pauls, Fender basses, Telecasters. This place is absolutely unbelievable. So here tonight, you see this, we'll get a stage set up here. We're gonna do a Boucher clinic, which is also gonna be featuring a lot of the other guitars that they sell here at Stang. And we have some tremendous staff members here. We're gonna catch someone right here, right now. Unsuspecting staff members. Say hello,
hey guys,
to my subscribers. This is
I'm Rory.
Rory,
Daniel.
So tell me about what it's like working here. Is it cool or what?
I mean, it's the best store in town,
Yep.
best techs in town. Life's too short for bad gear, man.
Yeah.
We got all the good stuff. It's a really fun time.
Wicked. What do you think? You have fun here?
Love it. Great guitar store, one of the only ones left, so.
It's great to get paid to play guitar, isn't it?
It is.
So we get the full, you get your full, this is just part of it. All your accoutrement, strings, parts, pickups, everything you could imagine is here. And it's beautifully laid out. Now I'm going to show you a really cool dude back here. This is the guy who just fixed my Maestro guitar for me. We're going to come back here. Oh, that's back. Oh, found a Jake Lozon right there. The legend of Jake Lozon.
It's a test of craftsmanship, right? Okay, you guys, you almost did this.
Yeah.
Like you almost did it.
This is Doc.
Hello.
Doc is the tech here at Stang Guitars.
Pleasure to meet y'all.
He just fixed my Maestro. He did a nut extension.
Brand new
And
fancy
it's-
bone nut.
And it's flawless, and the spacing is awesome now because he is the man. If you want anything done in this province, this is the guy.
Oh, wow.
Because you probably don't want that many guitar players running in here.
I got enough people from Calgary coming already. No, that's not.
Good
There's
enough.
There's enough good guys in Calgary.
So tell us a little about you. How long you've been doing this? How did you get into this trade?
Professionally, I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And honestly, I started doing this because when I was a poor young rock musician traveling coast to coast, and you got to get in the van at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you don't get to the gig until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
There's no time for anybody else to fix your guitars.
Right.
So you just kind of figure your stuff out on the road. And I decided to leave another job about 10 years ago. And a buddy of mine was running a guitar repair shop at the time, and he took me under and
Sweet.
fixed up all the things that I didn't know, that I thought I knew better but didn't know.
So I'm going to ask you some questions
Yeah.
that are geared towards my guitar heads.
Sure.
They love this kind of information. What's the easiest flat top to work on that comes in that's really well built? If you have to fix it, you don't have to do too many acrobatics, right?
Well, listen, like every one of them is an engineering thing, right? Like,
Yes.
like flat tops are engineered; they have been since the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And so that all depends on what's wrong with them. Like, and you get the standard factory built stuff, right? Like Martins and Gibsons, right?
Yeah.
And you know, for the most part, those guys, they just make a good guitar,
Yeah,
right?
they stay together.
They stay together relatively well.
Do you have a
as long
lot
as
of
they're taken care
problems
of, right?
with the bridge lifts and all that stuff because of the humidity?
Oh yeah,
here?
man, humidity and you know, lack of attention to the guitar.
Right,
all the time, right? Like,
See, what did I tell you? I always get these questions. They say, well, how do I keep my guitar from blowing up and doing this? I tell them, play it.
well, there's that,
'Cause
right?
that's- you have to keep it-
because
keep your hands on it.
you see it every day too, right?
Right.
And then if you notice that something's going wrong,
He knows. Listen to him.
then you know, then you can at least address it before it gets to, oh my God,
I have
my
to put a
bridge is.
bridge-
I
yeah.
have to get the bridge pulled all the way off and
Yeah.
put back on, right?
Yeah.
Or my bridge is cracked, or there's a crack in my guitar because I didn't play it for a month. I mean, if you're not going to play it for a month, set a timer for every week just to go water the guitar, right? Like,
Sweet.
Like,
Now, here's another
remember.
question. What's your favorite humidification process?
My favorite maintenance right now is the Oasis humidifiers.
The little blue
The
ones
little
with the-
blue
yeah,
tubes, the
yeah.
yellow tubes, whatever color they come in now,
Yeah.
depending on the amount of humidity they're supposed to let out. I think.
Right,
is-
yes.
But,
What do you think of the humidipacks that they're
here, I don't find they work as well
'Cause it's
as
so
they could.
dry.
Yeah, because it's so dry, right?
Yeah.
And I can totally see the argument for how those will work in a place that's more humid, like you know, hang out in Toronto for a little while,
Or Nova Scotia,
Nova
where I'm
Scotia,
from,
that's
yeah.
exactly it, or Vancouver, right?
Yeah,
And I can see the need for having the dehumidification
Yes.
aspect of those and the humidification aspect, right? But when it comes to a place like this, where you know, when it's minus 35, every single ounce of moisture is frozen out of the air,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just dropped to the ground, and
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah.
What is that? Those things can't keep up as well as I'd like them to here.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, they're better than nothing. And if you like that as a system, and you live here or you know Saskatoon or Calgary or someplace like that, right?
Yeah.
Then yeah, just be aware that you're going to actually have to change the packs,
Yeah.
right? Whereas where you live, the reality is that you don't have to change the packs in those things
No.
because they kind of recharge themselves.
That's right. And so here's a big lesson for you. You got to watch out, like I've been saying, where you live.
Yeah.
If you know you live in an arid place in the winter, you got to make preparations for that. Whether it's having a decent humidifier in your guitar room, and never keep your guitar out of the case, ever anyway. And just know where you live and know where your humidity changes. Humidity changes over the wintertime and the early spring and through the height of the summer.
That's right.
You got to keep track of all that, because if you don't, you have to bring it to Doc, and he's pulling your bridge off and he's pounding your frets back in.
And I'm doing my best not to chastise you for not taking care of your stuff, right? I mean,
And you take care of it by playing it every day.
says the guy who owns a really expensive guitar who's been chasing a crack in it for 15 years.
Ugh,
So
yeah.
that's just what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that's.
You're the man.
I do what I can, man. Happy to
Awesome.
help. Happy to help. Nice talking
Doc,
to you.
Stang Guitars, wicked.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks, buddy. I don't change strings that often.
These are JP's strings from the tour we're on.
Back in. I didn't even mean to.
That's how hard he plays them.
What's your last name, Doc?
Stang.
You can't get much cooler name than that.
No, it's we went through a lot of names and it just kept coming back. And you know, most people
Okay.
think it's a fake name anyways. It's not. It's
Here we are with the owner, Mr. Tyler Stang.
How are ya?
You can't get a much cooler name than that. I had forgotten that I was here once before doing a workshop. That's hilarious. What a great name.
Yeah, most people think it's fake, so we just went with it.
Yeah. So tell me, is this the first place this store has been?
This is the first place the store has been. Yeah.
And how long has it been here, and why did you start this place?
8 years in May.
Yeah.
So just a little over, just about 8 years. We all worked at a previous shop together, every single one of us.
Wow.
And that shop was just kind of winding up things, and I had a little opportunity where I thought I could get the lines I wanted to get, and I could open the store I wanted to open. You know, I could have done it earlier, but I wouldn't have been able to get like your Fenders and Gibsons and Martins and Taylors. And that's what I always wanted. I wanted this kind of store. So I just had to bide my time, and then all of a sudden a little hole opened up, and just went for it. Went all in.
I love
Deeper
this.
than all in.
I love this shop is really something to see. Like, it's huge, cavernous, beautiful space. Like, when you walk in here, you feel like you're in a museum.
That's
almost.
exactly what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we were trying to do.
It's industrial folk museum.
You know, steel's the family business. My dad builds steel buildings, so I knew I wanted. We found this place right away. Actually, we saw the height, and we just started trying to figure out how we were going to use it all.
Right.
I knew I wanted a glass acoustic room up in the air, and I knew I wanted a stage, and we just couldn't figure out how we were going to. Because we got lots of space, but we don't have lots of wall, and you need wall in a guitar store.
Yeah.
And then he came up with the catwalk.
Yes.
And then as soon as that idea clicked, everything kind of went from there. Then I kind of figured out the rest of what we were going to do. But he had it designed, and we installed it ourselves.
Yeah. So what's your favorite acoustic line these days? What do you like the best? And be aware of my audience.
Yeah.
They love everything.
Yeah.
So we value your opinion.
Yeah. I grew up wanting a Martin my whole life.
Me too.
You know. So getting Martin was a very.
And you've got a
big
couple
deal
of
to me.
dandies up there.
Yeah. I've been to the factory, and you can feel the history of 200 plus years of business when you're there. You know, it's just. Especially when you go to that old factory. I don't know if you've been to the
I just was there like a month
old
ago.
workshop.
First time I was ever there.
It's really something.
Yeah.
You know, as a retailer, Taylor's just been the best company to work with for us.
They sell a lot of guitars, don't they?
Yeah, they probably outsell the room themselves.
Yeah.
Everything else up there, they great to deal with. Great. They always hold up. Honestly, for my money, I think the best sounding guitar up there is that Boucher BG52, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, well, they're
close right
Robin
now.
just keeps building freaks,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
it's hard to compare them. But it's like me and Doc were talking about. They're only building about 450 a year, so it's hard to penetrate the market the way that the big companies do.
Yep.
But it's because of guys like you.
Yep.
Where you're brave enough to put another name in amongst those Taylors and Martins, and that helps. That's good for everybody.
Yeah, and the story of how they got here is much like that too,
Yeah,
because they were looking for dealers. I didn't want another high-end guitar line. Right? Again, as a retailer, these big companies, Martin and Taylor, are massive beasts that need to be fed. You know, they take up almost all my cash. I just wasn't looking for another.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they called me a couple times, and I like the Canadian story. I personally need an Adirondack spruce guitar. Like that's what I love.
Yeah.
So when they told me that that's all they use, I was intrigued. I'm like, you guys are gonna have to send me a guitar or show me something.
Yeah.
And then they happened to be swinging through Western Canada, brought 4 guitars. Doc and I sat up there with them for an hour and ordered all 4.
Yeah.
And that was a wrap. Again, not wanting another high-end line. We're like, we can't let these 4 guitars walk up. We're guitar people first and foremost.
Yeah.
You know, like we don't.
And that's important. Because right
That's all there is.
now, when you look at things, and I talk about them all the time. Is everybody uses them, but I mean, Long and McQuaid can only do so much because they really are trapped in into the single thing that they do, right?
They got to turn and burn.
So if you guys like you, don't show that bravery and put other names, not just Boucher. I mean, I'm quite sure if you found something else that caught your eye, you probably put it in too.
Got it.
We need more shops like this in Canada. It's imperative.
Yeah.
We have 2 shops like this in Nova Scotia. One's called, you probably hear me talk about them on the channel, G&G Music and Citadel Music.
Absolutely.
They're just like you. They're Martin dealers, Gibbs and Taylor, whatever, but they also deal the handmade Yamaha, like the $5,000-$6,000 ones. And they do Boucher, and they do the hand like the Yaris out of Kani, Japan. So they're brave, and people love it. They get a ton of business because of that, right?
Yeah, my old, we all used to work at a place called Avenue Guitars, which was a famous Edmonton guitar store. And
I remember
the owner who's passed away now, Brian Schultz, who taught us, everything about everything.
Yeah.
He used to always say, the other thing he used to always say was, you can't sell it if you don't have it, right? So if you see something you believe in, you'll put it in the store, and somebody else will, if you believe in it enough, somebody else will believe in it too.
So tonight we're going to have fun.
We're doing a great time.
We're doing a Boucher clinic, but we've only got one Boucher.
We've only got the one.
And that's a good problem
We're
to have.
fortunate to have it. I was worried we wouldn't have any, but we got one.
So we're gonna instead of just concentrating on that, I wanted to just show all of you how wicked this shop was. And if you're a fan if anything that's in here, Martin, whatever it is, Martin, Taylor, Gibson, you've got every name in here.
Sir,
Fender,
Purist, Charvel,
Yeah.
Godin,
Fender,
Fender Custom Shop,
Epiphones up there.
yeah, Paul Reed Smith,
Yes, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
If it's there's pretty well.
LTD, ESP.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got everything. So the healthier the store is, the more guitars get sold to people, which is our mandate. We want people playing guitars.
We just it's our hashtag on every Instagram post, every post we do, is play more guitar. That's what we want. We just want people to play more guitar.
Thanks, Tyler.
It'd be a better world if everybody just did that.
Tyler Stang, everybody, and video's not over. We're going to show you some stuff that's going to happen here later. So hang in there. We're going to be right back.
Thanks, guys.
And guess what? We've seen a wild Dave Gunning. Here we are in the acoustic room of Stang Guitar in Edmonton, Alberta. Now, mind you, to tell you the truth about this, all stores right now are suffering with lack of stock. And there's a guitar shortage again because everybody bought them like crazy during the pandemic. So the boys have kept up a pretty good stock. We got a Taylor wall here. You guys know about me that I'm not a big fan of Taylor, and but they have a huge variety of them here, and we have found one, this one, which is Flame Koa back and sides, that is a relative canon compared to the rest of the Taylors in the room. Now, mind you, it is over $9,000. It is what it is. It's a Taylor. $9,000. And then we found a what do they call these things? The
Modern Deluxe.
Yeah, this is the Modern Deluxe 28 herringbone. That's going down the show. Over here we got a triple O 18, which is a Canon. We got a standard 18, which is a Canon. Triple O. Yep. And then we actually picked. Where did that guitar go, Jake? Right here. Oh, here it is. Oh, this one. This Seagull, cedar and what? It's a $400 laminate guitar, and it's a Canon.
Yeah.
Canon.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it is.
It's wicked. Wait till you hear this thing.
Probably cherry on the back.
Holy shit. That thing is an absolute cannon. Like, I just can't see how you could possibly go wrong. And then, last and most, the Rocket. BG52 Boucher, solid, like 4+ Adirondack top, Torified, Rosewood. This is the best guitar in the store. And Tyler even said that. So we're gonna play this one last in the clinic because it's literally not fair to play it against any of these guitars. But except for maybe one of the Martins, I think, is a similar guitar.
There's a couple of those Martins that are good.
Yeah,
Really good.
but the Boucher is just going to be like 30% louder, and it's just going to be that.
It's got the balance
Yeah.
and the volume. Yes, sir.
So, but these guitars, this shop in particular, always has incredible instruments in it. Not just the new stuff, but I've seen guitars in here like the Tom Petty signature model Martin, like it was $12,000, and it was unbelievable. It should have been under glass, but it wasn't. It was hanging up there on the wall right there, and like that's the sort of stuff they get in here. So if you want to see vintage stuff and rare guitars and at a decent price, this is the place to come, because they're always on the lookout for it. And it's just a great shop. It's one of the best guitar stores I've ever been in. And it's fun to be in here. It's a cool place. I mean, look at this. Come here, look at this, how this place is laid out. You can see this, the whole thing is glass. And this wrought iron catwalk goes all the way around and through here. Follow me, watch this. You walk through the acoustic room and you go out the other side of the catwalk, and boom, you've got another wall. Tellys, Stratocasters, Les Pauls, P basses. Unbelievable stuff. Incredible. Look at this. Les Paul custom. This is a drooler guitar right here. Man, oh man, that thing's nice. And then of course, you look out across here and look at the expanse of the store. It's unbelievable. It's just like a museum.
There's Jake Lowe's on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Jake playing over the other room. Hey Jake, flip us a bird. So that's Stang Guitars, guys. It's crazy, crazy good. This is a wicked, wicked store.
That would be Stang's office.
Yep. That's where Tyler works. And yep. If you're anywheres in Alberta or anywheres within 500 kilometers of this place, you need to come here. It's a great spot. So Dave, why don't you give us an idea of what you look for when you're looking for a new guitar?
Oh gosh.
You can make part of this be even some advice to new players or whatever, right?
I think we have a lot of the same tastes. It would depend on what I'm looking to do with the guitar. Whether it's if it's my main squeeze, it has to be a guitar that will take all the open tunings that I use.
Right.
And a capo on the 20th frets.
Yeah.
Those are I don't know. Yeah. So, the last couple of years, the last maybe 5 years playing with you, I was looking for earthier guitars that would sit in with you better, because your guitars tend to be more mid-focused and sparkle and punch when you're picking.
Right.
So when I'm playing with you, I try to support you, but not make it too cloudy, or kind of try to stay out of the way a little bit. So I look for maybe a guitar that isn't as mid-range focused.
Do you think that there's something to getting away from the standard tone woods like rosewood and mahogany, and going to things like walnut or koa, or the things that we use, right? We use a lot of different tone woods. Yeah, I do for sure. And
Jake loves the mahogany.
Yeah.
And I
and
do.
your guitar.
Well, so the guitar that I'm using on this trip with you is a walnut guitar.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Right. Walnut back and sides. Doing the singer-songwriter thing, I like to have guitars that sound a little earthy.
Yeah.
Sounding, or.
I think those tone woods get that.
Yeah, and especially for recording, I don't want something that sounds too shiny and new.
Right.
Something that sounds a little bit more aged or experienced. And sometimes those odd tone woods, like the walnuts and cedar, gives you a different tone.
Yeah.
But
I think people should be encouraged to try them.
Yeah.
To get out of the mahogany rosewood.
Yeah.
Trap.
That being said, as soon as I heard that Martin, even with dead strings on it, the rosewood one that's actually down getting strings on it for your workshop.
Right.
But it sounded great right away.
Yeah. And mind you, an interesting thing to look at too is that we went through here and picked the 6 guitars we wanted to take downstairs.
Sorry, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right
Most
here.
of them are rosewood.
Yeah.
And there's 2 mahoganies and 1 koa.
Is this a D18 mahogany?
Yes, that's a D18 mahogany.
Yeah.
What do you say, Jake? What's your advice to people that are, struggling looking for their own sound? Like, where do you start?
Well,
like Dave was saying, so Dave's trying to fit into a mix where there's somebody who picks the guitar, and if you're picking the guitar, you might want a little bit of mid-range or brightness to bring your playing out in a mix, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, with myself, I found I lean towards, we played a bunch of maple guitars the other day.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't know until you try them all.
Right.
The combinations of guitars, and Adirondack and an Adirondack spruce top to a Sitka spruce top is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, you could have two D18s, and if one's an Adirondack top, well, it's going to be a lot more, put your notes a lot more up front of the guitar.
Right.
If you're picking lead.
Yeah, there's way more penetration with
I
Adirondack.
need to correct something I said too, because Jake just reminded me, my walnut guitar, acoustically, it has a ton of mid-range, but when I play with JP, I use an equalizer to haul some mids out.
Right.
Dave's just faking it completely.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even matter what he plays, it's just going to be EQ'd to what you want. Though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true.
Which
yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
if you buy the guitar and it's close to the EQ spectrum you want as an
Yeah.
acoustic instrument, then you can tailor it with your system, like there.
But
right?
when we record, JP, I think I used the Loudon quite a bit.
Yes, a lot.
And I also used what else was I using? I can't even remember. I think I used the Gibbs, the Epiphone inspired by
Epiphone
Gibson
G45,
that
yeah.
I bought from you.
Yeah, see, that's another thing altogether.
Yeah.
Guitars plugged in or even in a room
Yeah.
is a totally different thing in
Yeah.
a studio mic.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
yeah,
guitars will
yeah,
really excel
yeah,
at
yeah.
one thing and not another. So you may
Yeah.
need to have more than one to do all the jobs you want to do, right?
It's quite crazy. Yeah.
What do you think about this Larrivee, Joe? There you go.
It's a good guitar. It's kind of in the middle. I don't know if it's the body size that doesn't give it a ton of bass, really.
Satin finish.
Satin finish, yep.
You gotta love Larrivee. He was one of the first builders in this country, if not the first.
Yep, and it looks like
Besides
just,
the Bouchers and the Normans.
well,
Yeah.
and it's kind of got a darkness of a rosewood dread, but it's got a brightness of an OM. It's
Yeah.
kind of, it's a nice sounding
It
guitar.
does have a nice sound.
Like the notes still come out of the front of it with some mid, right?
I still have a problem with their necks being a little too angular
Yeah,
for me.
they're different than what we're used to.
Yeah, they don't feel the same.
Yeah,
But that thing's
that's similar to
gorgeous.
your guitar, Dave.
Yeah, you played the Larrivee for years, man.
It's a similar shape
I
and
did.
style.
It's similar to. This looks similar to the Perth that I'm playing now.
Satin finish?
Satin finish and everything.
Yeah.
I don't have a pick.
Oh, I got a cable for you too.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
You better have 6.
Yeah. Yeah. This has an earthy. Yeah. It doesn't sound shiny or new at all.
No, it's- sounds better.
Wow, it does. I love Dave's tone.
Yeah.
Dave gets a lot of different tones out of the guitar.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
nice
man.
little guitar. Yeah, earthy
Yeah.
sort of.
Okay, your turn, JP.
Earthy
Oh,
tone.
Jesus.
So
Okay.
we're gonna try and pull some different tone out of this guitar. We haven't changed the tone wood on it or anything. Just 3 different guys playing it. Right?
Yeah, that's an interesting point to make. Yeah. This thing is really nice.
It's a great guitar. Yeah. I think it should come downstairs for the
I think we should.
guitar workshop. Yes.
Good idea.
And what model is that? LV 03R.
03R, okay. It's got a beautiful wide neck. It's a good guitar.
Yeah.
Really good. It's one of the nicest Larravees I think I've ever played.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
You
I
might,
just-
you might know it says Stang Guitars. They seem to they seem to be a magnet for this type of stuff. Like I don't know how they choose what they're bringing in, but they seem to be pretty smart about what they're ordering. So there you go. There's a three-way take on, well, a lot of stuff that's helpful.
Well, what's interesting too, we talked about woods, and sometimes like I'll absolutely love a mahogany guitar, and then other times I might not, or any kind of wood. It's like it doesn't seem to be like if I was blindfolded, I might not necessarily be able to guess the wood on some guitars.
Right. Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because it all has to do with the player too, and what kind of plectrum you're using.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I'm using a huge heavy pick, but because it's a Clayton,
Yeah.
it's a vinyl pick. It's brighter than it should be, right? For that thickness. If I used a tone slab or one of those, it wouldn't be so bright. Right?
Yeah.
Hotel room key. What about hotel room key?
Pick it, son. Oh yeah. Is that the? Oh, that's the day's end. Yeah.
So here's an awesome thing about my YouTube channel. I am, 3,700, 4,000 kilometers away from my house. And I just met a guy I've been talking to on my channel for 3 years. Ian Rossiter is here.
How are you getting on?
One of my ultimate guitar heads.
How are you getting on?
26, 30 months. How many is it? It's ridiculous.
I love you from your OnlyFans too.
Oh, you didn't find me on Grindr again, did you?
I got you favorited.
Oh, gee. So this man has been with us, constant fixture on String Theory every week.
Wouldn't miss it.
And he's a tremendous musician. And he's a good Newfoundlander.
Yes, I am.
So there you
Stuck
go.
in Alberta.
There you go. So what do you think about this? It's pretty cool,
This is
eh?
marvelous.
I love it.
And you smell so good too.
You smell
You
like
smell,
oil.
you smell like someone. You're gonna take someone's mom home from the Legion on a Friday night. This is marvelous.
Yeah, Absorbing Junior and Shane.
I disappoint more women than Weight Watchers. A couple more divorces, I get a free sub. But I wish that wasn't true. He's coming down with the Boucher. Look,
Okay.
is that a Boucher? No.
Ian Rossiter.
JP Cormier.
Ian Rossiter.
The Jed. I'm here to learn at the feet of the master today, as always.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Ultimate bluegrass guitar. I don't have that. My Dreadnought is a studio use, which is braced for light strings, which is still a Canon. It's absolutely a Canon, that guitar. And I have two jumbos, which will just carry the walls of this place. And so I don't have a Dreadnought that's designed for that. Not only will I build you a Dreadnought, I will build you a fucking rocket. And that's how this guitar got named. This model is called the Rocket because of that. I asked him to build this instrument, and this has now become the top selling guitar that they have. I play this, Jake Workman plays them, he has 3 of them. There's Clay Jones plays one, and there's a ton of Americans playing this model because it's the best bluegrass dreadnought in the world. So there you go, boys and girls. That was our workshop last night at Stang Guitars in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And there was a lot of good guitars played there last night. And yeah, it's incredible the reach that this channel has. It's just awesome. And I love every one of you for supporting us and for supporting the shops and the builders and the people who we're involved with. It's awesome. It's a great community, and that's all that we were trying to do in the very beginning of this thing, was just create a worldwide family of players, and we've done it. And the channel grows every month by leaps and bounds, and there's just no way to thank all of you for it, except we're just going to try to keep putting out content like this for as long as we possibly can. And we love you, and that's Guitar Stuff with John. We'll see you next time. See you soon.